Have you ever said something in English that sounded fine in your head, but weird when it came out? You translated it word by word from your language, and suddenly it didn't sound right anymore. You're not alone. Every English learner does this, and it's one of the hardest habits to break. Hi everyone, and welcome back to The Listening Room, a space where you can slow down, listen to real English, and understand more deeply. Today, we're talking about something that almost every learner struggles with: translating from their mother tongue. It's natural, it feels safe, it feels easier, but it's also what keeps many learners stuck. So, in this episode, you'll hear a simple story, a few examples from real life, and some ideas that can help you think in English, not translate into it. So, let's get started. Let's be honest. We all start learning English this way. You think of a sentence in your language first. You find the English words that match it. Then you say it out loud. It feels like a bridge from your world to the English world. But that bridge can be shaky. Imagine you want to say, "It's raining cats and dogs." In your language, you might say, "It's raining very heavily." If you translate it directly, it makes sense, but it's missing the feeling. Native speakers don't just hear the words, they hear the expression, the rhythm, the tone. Or let's take another one. You want to say, "I miss you." In many languages, the structure is totally different. You might say something like, "You are missing from me," or "I feel your lack." It works perfectly in your language, but in English, it sounds strange. And when that happens, you start to lose confidence. You think, maybe my English isn't good enough. But the truth is, it's not your English that's bad. It's the habit of translating that's holding you back. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I met a student named Anna. She was from Brazil. Anna had studied English for almost 5 years. She knew all the grammar rules, she could write essays, she passed exams easily. But when she spoke, she paused. A lot. Every sentence took effort. She'd start, stop, think, then speak. One day I asked her, "Anna, what are you thinking about before you talk?" She smiled and said, "I think in Portuguese first. I translate. Then I speak." That was her secret wall. She wasn't thinking in English. She was translating from her language into English every time she opened her mouth. So we tried something new. For 1 week, she wasn't allowed to translate, not even once. If she didn't know how to say something, she had to describe it using only English words. At first, it was slow and uncomfortable. She said things like, "The thing that cuts paper, scissors." Or, "I feel, when something bad happens, disappointed." But after that week, something clicked. Her brain stopped waiting for Portuguese. Her English started to flow, not perfectly, but naturally. She said to me, "I feel like English is living in my head now." That's the key. When you stop translating, English starts living in your mind, not as a code to be translated, but as a real language you can think and feel in. When you translate, your brain does double work. Step 1, think in your mother tongue. Step 2, find English words that match. Step 3, arrange them correctly. That takes time and energy, which is why you pause hesitate, and forget words. But when you think in English, you skip step 1 completely. You don't think of English, you think in English. It becomes automatic. That's why native speakers sound fluent, not because they know every word, but because they don't stop to translate. Now, how do you get there? How do you stop translating when it feels impossible? Here are 3 simple steps that help. Step 1, shadowing. Listen to short English clips, podcasts, YouTube videos, short stories, and repeat what you hear as you hear it. Don't stop to translate. Don't think. Just repeat. Your goal is not to understand every word. It's to copy the rhythm and sound of English. Over time, your brain connects meaning directly to the English sound, not to your mother tongue. Step 2, describe instead of translate. When you forget a word, don't panic. Describe it. For example, if you forget the word umbrella, say, the thing that protects you from rain. Native speakers do this too. By describing, you stay in English mode and build fluency faster. Step 3, use English for your daily thoughts. Start small. Think in English when you make your coffee. Say in your mind, I need a spoon, or I'm adding sugar. Later, describe your feelings in English. I'm tired. I'm excited. I'm nervous. Over time, you'll stop reaching for translation. Your brain will choose English first. Let me tell you something powerful. There's a moment when English stops being a subject and becomes a part of you. It's not when you pass a test. It's not when you memorize 10,000 words. It's when you catch yourself thinking, I didn't translate that. That moment is real freedom. Because translation is like training wheels on a bike. It helps you start, but it can't take you far. You can't ride fast with them. You can't feel the wind. You can't go downhill. When you remove them, you might fall a few times, but then you move freely. That's what thinking in English feels like. And the truth is, your brain wants to learn that way. It's built to adapt. When you feed it real English, stories, sounds, emotions, it builds new connections automatically. You don't have to force it. You just have to give it time and keep the habit. So, if you often translate in your head, remember this. It doesn't mean you're bad at English. It means you're in the middle of learning, right between comfort and freedom. It's okay to start with translation, but don't stay there forever. Think of English as a friend, not a puzzle. Talk to it, listen to it, spend time with it. Let it live in your daily life. Here's a small exercise for today. When you catch yourself translating, stop. Take a deep breath. Try to describe the idea in English, even if it sounds simple. You might say, I don't know how to say this, or it's like. That's perfectly fine, because that's when you're actually learning, not memorizing, but connecting. And that's what the listening room is really about. Slowing down, listening deeply, and connecting with real English through stories that feel alive. If you like this story, keep listening. The next episode's waiting for you. And don't forget to subscribe to the American English Podcast. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.